The Fire faithful are in full voice, cowbells and all, and a grand final date with the Southside Flyers awaits if Townsville can topple the Melbourne Boomers tonight. Welcome to the WNBL preliminary final.
When we started this whirlwind WNBL season, we had no idea what to expect. Would we make it to the finish line? And how would all of our athletes go playing so many games in such a short space of time? Well, the answer is that the season has been simply superb. We are down now to our final three, and by the end of tonight, we will know who play the Southside Flyers in Sunday's grand final. Good evening and welcome. Preliminary final basketball in WNBL 20. Jack Heverin joined by dual Olympian Jenny Screen. And Jenny, the scene is set for a big preliminary final.
Big indeed. We know Townsville and the Melbourne Boomers had great semi-finals, obviously, to get themselves here, so expect a great contest.
Let's jump straight into the starting fives. We're only a few minutes away from the tip-off in Townsville tonight, and both teams we expect to go in pretty settled. They've had their lineups virtually all the way through. We start with the home team tonight, the Townsville Fire, and they have basically looked like that all season long.
Yeah, they have indeed. They rested Mia Murray in their game a little bit in the semi-final, but the backcourt obviously was flourishing with 30 points apiece between Heel and Nicholson in their semi-final. Nadine Payne and Megan McKay are going to be crucial tonight. Pretty much an X-factor. And then obviously off the bench, we've got the sixth player of the year in Zatina Akuzo. She's had some big games against Townsville this year. Melbourne Boomers, 16 points. And look for her to have a big game as well.
And for the Melbourne Boomers, while we talk about settled, this starting five of theirs has been the way all season long. It's led by Ezzy Magbagor. The recruitment of Tess Madgen has been huge, but no one has a bigger influence on the Melbourne Boomers than Kayla George.
Indeed, that front court between Ezzy Magbagor and Kayla George is phenomenal. They will be influential tonight in protecting that keyway. And then you got Tess Madgen. She's been a great leader for them in terms of her domination, her leadership and competitive fire. She'll be looking for a win as well.
So it was only 2 days ago that all of these teams played. We had our first round of finals on Wednesday night. The Southside Flyers, too good in the end for the plucky Townsville Fire. And the Melbourne Boomers, Jenny, they started the game really well against the Capitals. The Caps, to their credit, found a way back, but Melbourne, to their credit, had an answer in the third quarter.
And it was this girl on screen right here, Ezzy Magbagor. She came out the way we want her to come out the whole season. She just dominated with 10 first quarter points and led from the front. And then obviously Kayla George doing what she's done, been missed consistency all season. I knew UC Cap was going to come back, but they just were able to hang on, and I think it was a little bit of a relief from them, and I think we'll see another step up from them.
And the Flyers, well, they were very good. It was a shootout in that semi-final, and Townsville, it was only the start. They were playing catch-up for so long. Had they have not given up so many early, it could have been a different result.
41-25 in that first quarter really hurt them. They had some great contributions across the board. Zatina Akuzo was great off the bench in limited minutes. And then obviously the backcourt that we spoke about already, they were dominant. 60 points between
and that
Heel
lady there
and Nicholson, and that one. We know one of the greatest in the league, Liz Cambage. Who's going to stop her on Sunday?
She's going to be very hard to stop. So the Flyers can sit back tonight and wait and see who their opponents is. Let's get down to Megan Huswaite for the first time tonight. She's whipped the crowd into a frenzy, and she's got a couple of key interviews before the game starts.
Shannon, you earned the double chance tonight. You get to use it. What can we expect from the Fire?
Oh, look, we're hoping to come out and have a really good start tonight. We know Melbourne obviously are coming off the back of a great win, and we've had 2 really tough games against them earlier this season. So, we know what they're capable of and need to come out and make sure we start the game really well.
Just on that, how critical is a big start tonight, setting the tone?
Oh, it's crucial, I think, and I know they're going to be coming out, playing really physical and really hard, and I think they'll be quite pumped up for tonight. Obviously, as I said, we've beaten them twice this year, so we need to make sure we're ready to go from the tip-off.
Townsville have beaten you twice in the regular season, but you only need to beat them once when it matters, and I guess that's tonight.
Yeah, I mean, everything's on the line with this game, so we've had a careful look at how we approached the last 2 games, and credit to them, they played very well. So there are certain things that we need to do. We need to defend better than we did. We've also got to find, probably an easier supply of easy baskets with our 2 big guys.
Guy Malloy and Shannon Seabom, the coach of the Melbourne Boomers and the Townsville Fire, respectively. Jenny, who wins this game and why? I'm just going to handball that one straight to you.
Look, I actually think it's going to go down to the wire. I only hope it goes down to the wire. I think obviously Melbourne Boomers have a more depth in terms of their bench and coming off that and being able to contribute a lot more. But never underestimate the power of the home court advantage. And we know Townsville Fire faithful are going to be loud and vocal tonight and giving it to the Melbourne Boomers girls. But maybe perhaps it's time for the Melbourne Boomers. They've been at this time a couple of years now. They've always been the bridesmaid. They've never won. And maybe it's their opportunity to go to a Melbourne rival grand final.
Twice this season the teams have played. On the 22nd of November, the Fire won that game 87-75, and on the 13th of December, the Fire won 70-64. As we're underway for our preliminary final in WNBL 20. The Melbourne Boomers will be in possession to start with. Here's Maddie Garrick, 15 points, and really set the tone against Canberra on Wednesday. McGregor got rid of McKay, drove, got her own rebound, on the O glass, put it back in.
Deja vu from the semi-final against the UC Caps, starting where she left off. I think she's enjoying having a family up there who have made the trip from Melbourne. We know she's a family girl, and maybe they've given her extra edge.
Nicholson shares with Shyla Heal, who got rid of Maddie Garrick, and that's huge for her confidence early.
1-2 punch. If it isn't Nicholson, it's going to be Shyla Heal, and we know Shyla's had some big second halves against Melbourne Boomers, and expect that again here.
30 points on 11 of 21 against the Flyers in a losing game on Wednesday. George pulls up from the free throw line, and she helps herself to an easy 2. It's another fast start.
Love it.
Southside Flyers will be watching on tonight. They'll play the winner of this game on Sunday in our grand final. Coverage begins from 2:30 p.m. Nicholson threw it away. Had a couple of stationary targets. And Melbourne forced an early turnover.
She knew that. You could see her voice, you know, my bad, my bad. Great job for Tess Madgen here, just keeping her distance and keeping her space, and a great stance, and just a lack of movement from the Townsville girls that we saw there to not be able to help Nicholson.
So Garrick and Heal matched up on each other. We did expect that. Maddie Garrick did the job on Shyla last Sunday, kept it at 7 points. So Guy Malloy's gone back to that again. McGregor at the top of the key. Thought about handing off to Caratiana instead. There's a little pick and roll game with Madgen, and it's successful.
Great cut there by Caratiana. She just used a nice tempo to just lull the defense in, that created that space on the strong side for that two-man game.
Last 4 points in the game have gone to the Boomers. It's Nadine Payne. Got McGregor up in the air. Good D from Garrick, and fouls on Kayla George. In amongst the contact, Nadine Payne still managed to find McKay underneath.
She's had some great games. Obviously, they've met twice this season against Townsville. 13 points was one of them in their previous meetings, and she'll take confidence out of that. I don't think she was at her best in the semi-final, but if Townsville are any chance to win this game, they can't just ride on the backs of Heal and Nicholson. There's going to have to be one or two. Perhaps it's Megan McKay who's going to step up. She's been contributing some solid numbers. Just a blue-collar worker, nothing flashy. But Nadine Payne, she's going to have to contribute.
Let's get courtside to Megan Huswaite. Megan, I'm hearing a lot of cowbell tonight.
Loving the bells, guys. Also great to see so many familiar WNBL champions in the house. Rachel Spawn is here ahead of presenting her medal for the most valuable player in the grand final on Sunday. Alison Tranquilli, Sandy Brondello, Lauren Jackson. It's a who's who in the crowd here at Townsville Stadium.
That's a Hall of Fame right there.
There's a lot of Basketball Australia Hall of Famers there.
Sure is. George can swing to Madgen. Wide open for three. Bottom of the net for Tess Madgen.
And that's the way to punish a zone. It looked like they're in a little bit of a match-up zone there, and just be able to move it out, inside, outside, and then whack from Tess Madgen, who's been shooting at a great clip all season.
13 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists against Canberra on Wednesday for Tess Madgen. Nicholson travels.
Not the start we've seen from Nicholson, maybe a little bit fatigued, but you can also see, whilst it might be her turnover, apart from Heal back cutting there behind her. There wasn't much movement from the girls, so we hope they don't get lulled into, oh, let's just rely on these girls to get it done for us.
Guy Malloy spoke before the game about needing to be tighter defensively. So far, so good for Melbourne at that end, although they turn it over there. And Shyla Heal has Payne. Nice step on George, and then the finish didn't go down. McKay crashes the glass and gives Townsville another look at it. Now Heal to the big screen from McKay. Step back. Foot on the line. She's got 4 points and 2 of 2 shooting.
Oh, well, that just hurts, doesn't it? But starting where she left off in the semi-final with those 30 points to her name. A great start for the young gun.
Garrick for a dagger of her own. That's short. Nicholson gets the ball moving for the Fire. McKay sets a big pick that Madgen runs into, and Nicholson scores her first points.
Oh, that's got to hurt, and the one that you blame is the one that's defending McKay and not screaming that out. Perhaps she did, but I give credit to those girls, Tina Akuzo, Nadine Payne, Megan McKay. They're great at setting those screens.
Garrick goes down low, stepping back on Heal. That hits the front of the rim, and Mia Murray with the rebound. She'll be crucial tonight with the minutes that she plays, her experience. She's been here and done it before, won a couple of titles with the Fire. Here she is, goes to work on Caratiana. Nice speed off the dribble.
Yeah, she does have great speed, and obviously after 2 years out, she's going to take her a while, but as we see on that replay there, bam, you don't want to get hit by Megan McKay. A strong young woman in this league, but then talk about a veteran on the other end of the spectrum. She had 12 points, I believe, in one of their meetings earlier on this season. Went whack from outside, and hopefully we'll see that again here.
Grand Final MVP as well in 2015, Mia Murray. Here she is, on cue, delivers.
Hello, ma'am. Thank you very much for making me look very good there, Mia Murray, but doing what she does well.
Townsville take the front, 11-9. Coming up to 5 minutes remaining in the opening quarter. Goes straight back down to Kayla George. Fouled by Payne, and one play coming up.
It's a great story, the Kayla George one. You know, 2018, she was winning a championship with the Townsville Fire against the Melbourne Boomers, and now we see her a couple of years later trying to push another team, the Melbourne Boomers, back into the glory days. It's been 2011 was the last time the former Bullying Boomers won the championship.
They've been runner-up 4 times, the Boomers. 2009, 10, 12 and 18. Townsville have won 3. They've been runner-up on 2 occasions. Nicholson fell over. Madgen dives on a loose ball. Let's get down to Megan Huswaite courtside.
Well, the coach of that last Townsville Fire Championship is Claudia Brassard. She's just sitting across the other side of the court from me at the moment. She's got a cowbell, and I haven't seen anyone jump out of their seat so quickly as she did when Mia Murray hit that last shot.
Now we know where the cowbell's coming from. Thank you, Megan. So Melbourne by 1. Townsville have done a good job just to slow the Boomers down offensively these last couple of possessions, and making their own possessions count. Good D by Madgen. Heal got it away to Nicholson. That's deep. McKay fights hard for the loose ball. Nicholson gets another look at it, and she misses out that time, and it's Payne who was outside.
I'm loving that Nicholson is taking those shots. One option would have been to not take that second one, but she's got to find her confidence. But what I am loving from the Townsville girls thus far is their commitment to go to the offensive glass. In both games previous in their 2 outings, Melbourne Boomers had 15 offensive rebounds compared to the Townsville Fire's around 6. So that's going to be huge for them if they get some second efforts against such a classy team.
Madgen decided to have a ping herself. McKay with another rebound for the Fire. She's had a good start. Heal pulls up. She's feeling it. Shyla Heal picking up from where she left off on Wednesday. Caratiana lost the ball. Nice hands by Murray. Our first look at The Melbourne bench, Caratiana out, Stella Beck comes in. Here's Shyla Heal doing Shyla things.
Hands down, man down is what they say, or woman down. You know, you can't let Shyla Heal get off to a flyer like that.
Fire by a couple. Beck into the game and was found by McMcGaw. What a pass from Ezzy.
Nice little give and go and feed off action from those two players there. And nice job from the big girl to be able to find her little sister.
Spent a little bit of time at Townsville, Stella Beck, but now very entrenched in the Melbourne Boomers lineup. Heels managed to get away from Garrick again, create the switch. Payne steps inside. She can't make it count. Seesawing preliminary final so far. Madgen looks for Beck, who's guarded closely by Heal. She managed to get inside. Loose ball, pounced on by Nicholson. And the fire off to the races. Now they settle things down and use their full 24. Murray in front of the Townsville bench. That might blow the roof off this place.
When you've got a three-time champion in Mia Murray, she's lived this. She knows this experience. There's no nerves for her. She's been here and done it before, and a huge start for her. Pretty much deja vu.
And the three ball has been their best friend. Well, it was the first time around. It wasn't last Sunday. As Melbourne turn it over. Let's go to Megan courtside.
Well, arguably the biggest sub in the WNBL right now is just happening with the Sixth Woman of the Year, Zatina Akuso, into the game for the Townsville Fire, and the experience of Kate Gaze.
She's played some really, really important minute games, Kate Gaze. 11 points against the Boomers last Sunday. She shot 4 of 4. And was pivotal in their win. And Akuso, well, she's a star in the making. Big opportunity for her tonight. Matched up on Kayla George. There is Akuso on cue. First possession. She misses. Imagine marshalling the troops for Melbourne. Good look for Kayla George, who had her feet set. Akuso with the rebound, and Townsville look to build on this three-point lead. Gaze to Akuso, who rolls to the basket, lays it up athletically.
Love it. She'll need that in terms of confidence, but we know Townsville Fire's pick and roll game is sensational, and they score quite well just behind Southside Flyers in terms of their domination in that. And we know Townsville Fire, the Melbourne Boomers are a great defensive team, so it'll be interesting to see if they adjust anything in their pick and roll here.
Just glides through the air, doesn't she?
I can't wait till she dunks it one day. It's going to be sensational. I know she can dunk it, but to do it in a game.
She can. 21 years of age, Zatina Akuso, the Sixth Woman of the Year, as Megan said. Payne. Stripped by George, good hands. Izzy Wright gets her first chance tonight. She's in possession, 13 points in 16 minutes against Canberra. George off the front of the iron there. Akuso up high. Tries to work together with Gaze. That time Melbourne were awake to it. Nicholson, tough finish off the window. She's deep. And we're inside the final minute. Both teams have had their opportunities in this last 90 seconds, but haven't been able to convert. Beck in the corner. That misses. And Gaze almost came up with it. Nicholson went crashing in, and it's a Townsville ball.
Oh, this has got everything. It may not have the shooting prowess that we've seen in recent games, but it's a grind. It's a final. You can sense it. They're diving on the floor. I love it.
Heel foul. Got it!
Tough.
Lauren Nicholson, I should say. It looked like a Shyla Heal move, but Lauren Nicholson is having an unbelievable season.
Yeah, she is indeed. She went really close to getting that MVP, but just rode. Tess Madgen, she couldn't do much more than that. I thought her defense was solid, but in this case, offense was just better. But the ability to actually absorb that contact and still, on your non-favoured hand, make a finish, tough play.
30 points and 6 assists on Wednesday. She could be forgiven for not having any energy left in her legs. She played every minute of that game.
And I just love what she brings to this league, and not only that, where's she going to fit into the Opals and potentially that squad? You know, I think she's going to push a lot of these girls that are sitting in these positions and potentially put her hand up and make it really hard on Sandy Brondello for selection purposes.
So Melbourne should get the last look at it here. Madgen will like the look of that matchup on Akuso. She's got long arms, Atina. She closes down Madgen, who scores with a hand in the face. And the last play of the first quarter, a big one for the Melbourne Boomers. They cut the margin back to 5, but Townsville are in the lead. She was the star on Wednesday night for Townsville, and she's doing it all again. Shyla Hill with 7 points in the first quarter. She's gone a long way towards helping Townsville have a 22-17 lead at quarter time. Have a look on that courtside table right there, Jenny Screen.
Some of my idols, some of the most famous women in Australian basketball sitting right there that a lot of people like myself that played the game and maybe perhaps, younger girls have looked up to and aspired to be. You've got the Australian women's coach now and Sandy Brondello there. Having a look at the stats, sussing out the girls. And then obviously Basketball Australia Hall of Famers in Alison Tranquilli and Rachel Spawn.
A legend of Adelaide basketball, Rachel Spawn. So the Boomers start the second quarter. Garrick back out there. McMcGaw out there too, and Madgen fires a tough shot. Good rebound, Purcell. Backed her way in.
Great rebound. We haven't seen a lot of Kalani like we have in recent time or in previous years. She's just taking on a different role this year, but her minutes are just going to be as vital tonight.
Fourth in the competition for steals, Kalani Purcell. Gaze, wide open. Couldn't make it work. Townsville again get after a loose ball. Reed driving and is stripped of it by Purcell. Townsville ball from the baseline. Steph Reed in her first year at the Fire. She's played some good minutes, averaged 16 a game. 6 points, 4 assists a game. Handy relief minutes coming off the bench.
Much necessary relief in terms of Hill and Nicholson getting a breather. There's 3 seconds on the shot clock here. Going to have to be pretty precise with your screening and cutting action in order to get a great shot.
Nicholson off the inbound, can go back to Reed. Oh, she nails it.
On cue, she must have heard you, Jack. But nice little handoff there by Nicholson, using her body to just shield the other two defenders and give Steph Reed that opportunity to nail that shot.
The 13th three-pointer of the season, Steph Reed. She shot from outside at 46%. Purcell defers to Caratiana. That's a nice-looking jump shot.
Yeah, and that's a selfless play there by Kalani Purcell. She probably could have taken the jumper, but looked out of the left side of the corner of her eye and saw Caratiana. We know she can drain it from three, and did exactly that.
She had 14 points when they played in round 2. Was scoreless in round 5. She's important for them tonight, the Boomers. Maginc's called for the foul. It's a good find, that one, for Purcell.
Talk about good finds is Caratiana in this Melbourne Boomers lineup. You know, played in the QBL, just, you know, going about a business. Obviously a New Zealand native, but picked up late in terms of coming into playing, and has just slotted in nicely to this purple uniform and done a great job this season.
She was their very last roster spot. She's been an important pickup for them. Megan Huswaite's just sitting next to the Townsville bench. And Megan, what did Shannon Seabohm have to say at quarter time?
Well, he was wrapped with that pouncing on the loose balls in the first quarter. He said he loves how they're attacking the basketball, wants more of that, but said it was a really good start and urged the players to be even more physical on D.
And more second chance points like that.
Exactly, but the thing I love about it is it just isn't their X-factor players that are getting it done. They're getting contributions of girls off the bench. We spoke about Kate Gaze rather earlier on, and also the likes of Nadine Payne. She hasn't hit the scoreboard yet, but even Steph Reed has come in and drained some shots as well.
Referees might just have a discussion about whose ball this is, but there's Gaze, foot inside the line. Fabulous jump shot in her own right. Thought this one would be debated a bit.
Dude, I love it.
Grumpy guy.
At least he's smiling while he's calling me.
That's right. Fire 27, Melbourne 21. Inside 8 minutes to play. Payne took an extra step there.
The idea was right. She saw Kalani Purcell was up in her grill and playing her tight, so did a rip through here, as you can see on the replay. Just had a little bit too happy feet, a little bit out of control on the finish.
Magin has got 6 points of her own, a couple of assists. And they go down low to Magbagor. She's guarded by Akuso. That's a good matchup. Out to Purcell. That's wild. Missing by a long way. Now Heel uses the screen of Akuso, and again Zatina tried to roll to the basket, couldn't. It's such a weapon for them, that high pick and roll.
It is, but the thing I love about it is that they've got 4 and 5 players in Akuso and Nakai that are not pick and poppers, which is what we're seeing a lot of the time in the leagues recently, but they're screen and rollers, which just takes people in their wake and then allows their guards to be able to have space and create shots for themselves or get dump downs, which is really nice to see.
Boomers from the baseline. Nicholson on the wing. It's a wide skip pass. Gaze found her, and then Nicholson got inside. Good D from Garrett. Forced her to change her idea. Akuso misses. Shot clock restarts. Townsville, this time through Nicholson. Can't convert. 27-21, the Fire lead. Magbagor kicks it out to George. Extra pass to Magin. Great ball movement, Boomers.
She is flying. She came out in the first quarter dominating, is just continuing on here. 9 points to Tess Magin's name already.
12 points in their first meeting, 11 in their second for Tess Magin. Heel early in the offense. 9 points. She's the equal leading scorer in the game with Magin. Both teams shooting at 50% or above, which again is a really good clip in finals basketball.
Absolutely, considering the amount of games they've played in the limited time. Fatigue may be an issue, but you know, credit where is earned for these girls. They're professionals now, and as we see on play and on cue, there is one of those great shots from these women.
Megan Huswaite is courtside for us tonight.
Mia Murray back into the game for the Fire. They certainly placing a lot of emphasis on that sub tonight. We didn't see much of her in the loss to Southside, but she's just come in for another experienced veteran in Kate Dave.
Garrick, good hands, dispossessed Shyla Heel, and here come the Boomers. The cavalry arrive. Imagine will pull it back out and they can start their offense. Magbagor, baseline, goes to work on McKay. McKay just did enough.
Solid D. Did a great job keeping her space and not fouling Ezzy Magbagor there, and created that opportunity to get the turnover.
This Garrick and Heel duel. How is Shyla's between the legs? Look at that. But then Garrick, to her credit,
Cheeky behind the back play. Susie Baktovic was the greatest player in the WNBL to do that. Get beaten and then just come behind and cause a turnover or steal.
it's a really good duel to watch that one. McKay swatted away by Magbagor. It was a block party for Melbourne on Wednesday. That's their first of the night.
Well, they do lead the league in terms of blocks. I mean, the length of George and Magbagor. Great dive by McKay here, but even better block from our young stud and WNBA champion, Ezzy Magbagor.
Just clean. Fire.
I'm just saying.
Hang on to a three-point lead. Magbagor, shot clock down to 10 now. There she is, posting up on McKay. Tough move, even tougher finish.
Indeed, considering she loves to go left on the spin, but doesn't like to finish with her left hand much. But I love that she's being a presence down there. At the start of the season, you know, is still struggling to find a way, but yep, she knows, you can see there, she's sealing McKay really well and just feels her behind her and knows the right move to make.
Ezzy's now got 6 points, a couple of rebounds. Heel and Madgen, the leading scorers in the game with 9 each. Nicholson has 5. There's a lot of work going into Lauren Nicholson tonight from Melbourne's point of view. Murray falling away. Rebound by George. She's told to move it on quickly, and she does. Back down to Magbagor once again, this time defended by Payne. Ezzy gets her own rebound and is fouled. She's taking on the responsibility in this second quarter.
Yeah, and that's what they've called for. You know, we've heard Guy Malloy talk about it. We wanted to be assertive. We wanted to be a dominant force, not only in our team, but in this league. And we've seen this in the back end of this season and during the final series thus far.
Timeout called by the Fire. 4 minutes 46 to play before halftime. Boomers have scored off the last 2 possessions. There's been very little that have separated these 2 teams so far.
No, it's been a grind. It's not what we saw in the first 2 semi-finals, a bit of a shootout in the first halves. It's knuckled down. It's pretty good, solid D. I think the Melbourne Boomers have done a great job on Nicholson early on in this game, and it's going to be, you know, a tough ball contest right down to the wire.
And the guard will fight to get over.
If you can, the guard just got to bump that big to give us peace of mind to stay on second long and just bump that big. I feel like she's making there.
When you're out of the lane, not when you're deep, but when you're out of the lane, the shot's starting to show opposite.
Okay. When we're in the 2, guys, if we don't rebound, we can't play it. You've got to find a body. Now, we are much better when we get stops. I want the ball kicked down the sideline and get a bolt. And then lake your cut if we get a post feed. So we've got to create that movement, right? Don't sit on the ball. So make sure we're formatting. Any of you guys can bring the ball up. The other guys have got to get out of the road. So we've got more space and they can't keep their guards up the floor. Okay, here we go. Come on.
There's so much leadership in that timeout, isn't there? We heard Kayla George with some instructions. Tess Madgen, wildly experienced international basketballer. And Guy Malloy experienced in his own right.
Exactly, and that's important that he allows to give them a voice. They're out there, they're feeling it. It's very different when you're a coach sitting on the sidelines. You may not see it the way or feel it the way players are on the court. So it's nice that they can contribute in a timely and respectful manner.
29-28. Second quarter of the WNBL 20 preliminary final. Magbagor lost at that time, and Townsville got the extra help that they needed. Nicholson fighting hard to get free. It's been guarded all night long so far, closely by Tess Madgen. Look at that, right up and in again. Nicholson with 4 on the shot clock, drives hard, finishes off the glass.
That's really tough. I mean, I think Tess Madgen's doing an exceptional job. We know Loz likes to go left more than she does right, but great job to be able to, again, absorb the contact. She was cut off one way and finds another route to the bucket.
Garrick posting up on heel, misses. Still yet to score in this game, Maddie Garrick. And they said coming in that she'd be an X factor. If they could find 12 or 15 points from her, it'd be a big difference. 3 ball is long from heel.
I just don't think yet she's had that many opportunities to have a shot or get some ISOs on the wing. I think her defense has been great. But she'll let the game come to her a lot more than what she did at the start of the season where she forced it.
See here, a turnover. That's another Falcon.
It is
one on Wednesday.
Yeah, we did.
So Garrick checks out now. Is she sacrificing offensively a little bit to do her work on Charlotte Hill?
No, she's clever enough to be able to do both. I think maybe it might drop a little bit in terms of what she's going to contribute, but it's just being in the right place at the right time to get the opportunities on the offensive end as well.
Murray for the treble. Just misses out there. Off the hands of McKay. The Boomers ball. You can hear the crowd every time Mia Murray's in possession and she gets an open look. She's royalty in this part of the world.
Well, she's done it many a time in many finals, been able to drain threes and get grand final MVPs as well.
Back after nearly 2 years away from the game. It's been crucial for them this season. Wright got fouled on the way through by Nadine Payne. Shouldn't sleep on Izzy Wright, she'll make you pay.
Yeah, she's been crafty for them and had great contributions this season and towards the back end as well. But you can see again, Townsville firing a little bit of a matchup zone and Nadine Payne just getting lost a little bit, questioning the foul also. She just turned her head and Izzy Wright, too quick, too clever, gets a nice little give and go with the veteran of the Melbourne Boomers, Kayla George.
She misses the first. First stint as a Melbourne player, has played with Logan Thunder, also played with Perth. Drains the second. It's back to a 2-point difference. Akuso didn't know that there was something coming. She took on George and couldn't lay it up. Melbourne with a chance to either tie it up or take the lead on this possession. Madgen fighting hard and Heel with the steal. She never gave up on it. Has Nicholson trailing. She can drag it back out. Murray shares to Akuso with a mid-range 2.
That was an earned 2-pointer. That's what you call team basketball. Great drive and dribble from Nicholson to keep the penetration alive. Gets the kick out to Murray. Kicked. Second option away from the closeout and Akuso nailing it.
And it started at the defensive end. Fast hands from Heel. And then, as you said, Jenny, the ball just shifted around until they got the look they were after. 33-29. Let's take a listen to Shannon Seabom.
Let's, out of this, let's go diamond. Right, back to man. Yep. So we'll put, Meg, you go to the inbounder. Right, actually forget that. Let's just go double fist to head tap. Right, double fist to head tap, okay? Next, right, let's go horns out special. Right, so Madgen in it. Right, so it's probably you. Right, let's dribble off it. So dribble off, get the switch. If you can throw it on the flare and we can attack, throw it. Right, if not, get her into the on ball. Right, play. If you can reject it. Right, get on the rim. Right, here we go, girls.
So there's the Townsville perspective. Megan was taking a listen to Guy Malloy in that timeout.
Very measured from Guy Malloy. We just want to stop coming up to the ball and giving it back to them. They're making it too easy for Townsville at the moment, was the message from the Melbourne coach.
33-29. Important couple of minutes here just before half-time.
It is indeed. I'd like to see the Townsville fire up in this little bit of a 2-2-1 press and just delaying the game offensively for the Melbourne Boomers, and then you see them fall back into a man situation here.
George has 7 points. She's working hard on the low block. Madgen against the shot clock. Couldn't get a clean look away. Townsville stand up defensively on that occasion. Shyla Hill through the legs. And Beck with the fast hands. Just disrupts that set.
Yeah, they were saved there. They started in a horns there, which is double screen high, and they're looking for the flare for Nicholson. And then Zatina was supposed to come across instead of pick and roll. She died because perhaps she thought Esme McBagor was behind her back, but they got another opportunity here with 11 on the clock to get another good look.
So McKay and Akuso in the rotation at the moment for Townsville. It worked with pretty good success on Wednesday against the Flyers. Murray, nice step. Just can't finish it off though. Here's Madgen. Guarded again by Heel. Brings it back out to George. Shot clock again at single figures. Madgen a long way from the basket here.
Oh.
Heel with the hands.
Oh.
Tapped it out of play. It just needed to sit up a fraction and she was away.
Oh, the defense is relentless on both ends. Have a look here. Shyla just in the pocket, pressuring. Doesn't matter how far Tess Madgen is away from her offensive bucket. She's just up in a grill, as was McKay in terms with Esme McBagor. Great job from the Townsville Fire.
So now Guy Malloy calls a timeout. A minute 17 before half-time. This second quarter in particular, Jenny, it just feels like Townsville have put such an emphasis on the defensive end.
Oh, it's what you call a grind. You know, it's perhaps not a pretty game in terms of the shots that we've seen previously, but it's a grind. It's tough. They're being proactive now on the defensive side rather than reactive, and you know, they're also coming up against the Melbourne Boomers, who are also known to be a defensive powerhouse in this league.
Second in the competition and third in the competition, respectively, for shooting percentages from the field. Likewise for the three-point ball.
Yeah, and I mean, if we look at the stats, they're shooting plus 45% across the board, both teams. So in a final, that's pretty good. You'd expect to see that around 38%. But, you know, it's just every shot they're taking is being earned. There's nothing given right now.
Here's some of our shooting numbers tonight. Not quite south side of Wednesday. And Townsville, to their credit as well, they shot the basketball beautifully in that game. The lead was 5 at quarter time. It's 4 at the moment for Townsville. 3 on the clock for the Boomers. McBagor off the inbound. Didn't get it away. Another tick in the box defensively for Shannon Seabom.
Yeah, I don't know what the execution was meant to be there for the Melbourne Boomers. Probably you don't want to get Esme McBagor that far away from the bucket, but there was a switch action. But, you know, another great stop for the Fire Girls. Hopefully they can convert here on the other end.
It's a foul on the screen. Akuso thought it was on her, but it's in fact on Megan McKay.
We'll just have a look
second.
here. Yeah, just maybe perhaps that little right elbow came out. Izzy did a great job just to navigate her way between that screen, and McKay just tried to find her, and instead of with the body, it was with the elbow.
Just a little chicken wing hanging out, yeah. Both teams not really having any foul issues to deal with. Madgen fires away. Nice hustle from Beck. Keeps the Boomers in possession. Shot clock down to 7. George has McBagor. He'll send it back out. Shot clock's their enemy once more.
Oh, just a little bit of congestion I'm seeing from the Melbourne Boomers. They're wanting it. They're trying to get it to the wing inside and work the two-man game between the two bigs. that we know between Ezzy and Kayla, but then you've got guards cutting at the same time, which is just taking away the space from the big girls. Just got to stretch the floor a little bit more.
It's like they're in a vice, and Townsville are just squeezing them defensively. Then at the other end, McKay gave it up, back to Nicholson. Murray lost the ball, and Beck comes up with a big defensive play of her own. Shot clock's been switched off. Right. She's long, and this should. I was about to say should be an uncontested rebound for Murray, but it's Stella Beck who, again, comes up with an important play.
Yeah, and I agree with Mia Murray there. You know, it was a quick jump ball, and she, you know, Melbourne Boomers had stepped out of court as well. So, but credit to them. 10 seconds left here to get the final play of the second quarter.
Beck has Magbagor rolling to the basket. She doesn't finish it off. At halftime, it's Townsville who lead, 33-29. It's not the high-scoring spree that we thought it may have been. It's a defensive arm wrestle.
It is indeed. It's just going to grind and grind and grind away. You know, both teams have had some great looks. That second quarter, though, we saw was just 11 points to 12 in terms of contributions offensively. But, you know, I've seen some good stuff from both teams, and it'll be interesting to see how they adjust for the second half.
It's a bit of discussion around that last play of the quarter and whether there may have in fact been a foul. There wasn't. The margin is a very, very tantalising 4-point lead, a big margin in a game like this. Let's get to Megan Huswaite.
Well, Mia, it looks like a tough finals grind out there. Is that exactly how it feels?
We anticipated this from them, so we wanted to come out hard and fast at the start. We forced them into some 24 shot clock violations, so we want to build pressure in the second.
Just on that, looked like you built even more pressure defensively in the second term. Was that the message going into the second quarter?
Absolutely, we had a good start. We wanted to keep building momentum, so we'll do that in the third as well.
Thank you for joining us. Good luck.
Thanks.
Mia Murray's been here and done it all before.
Been a common theme throughout WNBL 20 is what an amazing time that all of our athletes have had. And what about that? One of the world's very best athletes and one of the world's very best basketballers on the sand, spinning the decks. Life's tough for some, isn't it, Jenny?
It is, but she is actually well known for her ability to DJ as well. So nice to see her being able to do that up there. And, you know, they're going to be tough to beat on Sunday, as we know. But what is tough right now is this contest that we're witnessing.
Yeah, it's been absolutely uncompromising from the moment this game started. At halftime, it's Townsville who lead 33-29. We spoke before the game about some of the prime movers for both teams, and we thought that it was a case of the big three for both, and the influence of the big three for both teams would go a long way to winning. How have you seen this battle so far?
Well, I think it's lived up to the expectation. It hasn't been a high-flying scoring game that, you know, we've come to expect from the WNBL this season, but it's been a grind, and these girls are still trying to find their way and getting shots. We know Heel and Nicholson both have 9 and 7 respectively. Zatino Kuso has 4, but also 3 rebounds to go with it. And then we shift to the Boomers. Tess Madgen is leading the way with 9 points for all scorers alongside Heel, and then George 7 just up behind her. Mag Bagor is being a great self as well with 3 rebounds and 6 points.
They're our prime movers, and those numbers, I mean, 9, 7 and 6 are the 3 respective scorers. No one's really gone off yet, have they?
No, but that's the great thing about it, that they're not relying on any 1 or 2 players to get the job done, as we've seen in the past. It's spread across the board. We know Kate Gaze has come in and contributed. We know Mia Murray has started well for them this game as well. So it's nice to see a great spread of scorers.
And we had X-Factor players in this game as well. Not necessarily inside the big three, but players that, if they can find their way and have an influence, they could change the result. We went with Mia Murray and Maddie Garrick. So far, it's been all about Mia Murray at the offensive end. Maddie Garrick's got another job to do tonight, though, defensively.
She does indeed, and she's doing a great job there. I thought she knuckled in on Nicholson early and ruffled her feathers a little bit, but also, and obviously on Shyla Heel. But I picked Mia Murray because she's experienced. She's been here before. She knows what finals basketball are all about. No reflection in terms of the stats from Maddie Garrick. It's just been tough for her. She's had 3 shots to look at it. I don't think she's been in positions to actually be effective. But we know that she's a great confidence player, and I think we'll see a better second half from her.
So put your coach's hat on here, Jenny. What do you do with a player like Maddie Garrick, who's had limited opportunities, and you say that she may not have been in the right position at some stage? And do you run a couple of plays early in the third quarter to try and involve her, or is it up to her to get involved in the game?
Yeah, a little bit of both, I think. You don't want to push it too much and force too much basketball from Maddie Garrick. What we want to see is the Melbourne Boomers start to fly, push the ball up the floor. She is an athlete. She can run the wings really, really well. And then perhaps get her in a pick-and-roll game with Kayla George or Ezzy Magbagor, or run some ISOs on the wing. Allow her attack. She's a 3x3 player, has great finesse with the ball, and allow her to go to work.
Well, at halftime, it's a 33-29 scoreboard.
Deakin Melbourne Boomers. We're getting ready to find this.
I spoke to Shannon Seaborn, the Townsville coach, out of half-time, and the focus for the third quarter is going to get some flow and efficiency on offense. Very happy, obviously, with the defensive effort and physicality in the second quarter, but said just defensively, they're just getting bogged down a bit because of the physical nature of this game. Also had a quick catch-up with Cheryl Chambers, the coach of the Southside Flyers. Of course, they were the first to advance to Sunday's grand final. She said it's great to just sit back live and have a look at both games. It's a bit of a live scout, isn't it, taking a look at both the Boomers and the Fire. Who knows who the Flyers are going to play on Sunday? We're about to find out.
I was just thinking about that at half-time, Megan. Thank you. What would the Flyers be thinking at the moment watching, Jenny? What would be their takeaways from this game?
Tough defense, physicality, and probably a thought that they're going to win on Sunday. You know, I think they're riding high on confidence. They're playing exceptional basketball. They're shooting the ball at a prolific rate. And, you know, it's going to be tough. This is a tough game as a spectacle that we're seeing, but, you know, they're going to have either team, whoever gets the go-ahead on Sunday is going to have to go to another level to be able to push the Southside Flyers.
A half of basketball to decide our second grand finalist for Sunday. It's the Fire who start in possession. Nicholson with 7 points. That's a Murray catch and shoot three. That's off the front of the rim. McGregor controls the rebound. Let's imagine it looks to get things moving for the Boomers. Down low to Kayla George immediately. Backing in on McKay. Good defense. Kicks it out to Caratiana.
Kayla George was happy about that assist. She just did a great job there. Shyla Hill just got caught a little bit on the weak side, being too deep in terms of inside the keyway and leaving Caratiana out on the naked on the three-point line.
Hill trying to respond herself. Got away from Garrick. Nice hands, Madgen. Came up with the interception, and she's got the open court to work with. Body's off on Payne. No whistle. Townsville ball. Just Megan McKay just does a lot of little things right. So does Tess Madgen. His hands there were lightning fast. 1-point ball game, early stages of the third quarter. Townsville 2-0 in their 2 meetings this year. Big drive, big bucket from Nicholson.
Girl does like to go left, but even tougher shot there. Nice little shimmy, crossover bake there, just coming outside her cylinder to finish on a non-predominant hand on her left, especially against the length and size of Miss Kayla George.
And her numbers against Melbourne in their 2 matchups have been superb. We'll get to them in a moment. Let's go to Megan Huswaite first.
Well, Jenny's screen, it's funny, isn't it? Who would have imagined that a Townsville Fire star would go left? It's not like we've seen it for so many years here at Townsville Stadium.
That is true, and Miss Susie Baktovic, the legend of the WNBL herself, her scout was left and lefter.
Left and left.
Yeah. But she got it done and made a fascinating career out of it. As we see, finally, Miss Maddie Garrick coming to the party.
She's on the board. Our X-Factor player from the Melbourne point of view. Heel. All the time in the world to size it up, and you should not leave Shyla Hill that open.
Yeah, there was a bit of delayed communication between Maddie Garrick and Caratiana there. If I was Maddie Garrick and I've got a job to stay on Shyla Hill, I ain't switching on that. I'm locking down and coming behind and trailing every time she's cutting.
Madgen underneath to McGregor. Points are good with 1 to come. Those long arms, it started with her with the offensive rebound, and then again, she just got in front of Mia Murray.
She did, and I think Shyla, with her shifty little hands behind, popped that one out of Tess Madgen. I'm not sure it was meant to be that pass, but Shyla definitely assisted it on its way.
McKay Comes to the bench with a couple of fouls. Tina Rakuso checks back in. We're talking Lauren Nicholson's numbers against Melbourne. 24 and 23. Both at 50% or above in their 2 games this season.
But, Jack, it's not even just the points. Like, she has the ability.
Points are good for Charlotte Hill.
As we talk about someone that can light up and put points on the scoreboard. But Nicholson, it's not only her points contribution, it's her ability to rebound and then create for others. You know, I'm all for having point scorers and the ability for people to lock down shots, but you've also got to be able to create for your teammates and do the other little things like rebound. And this girl on screen and also the likes of Nicholson do a great job at that.
That is what makes this girl such a killer, Charlotte Hill. She's been nailing the 3-ball. Then she puts it on the floor and can get underneath. But all the assets. McMcGaw has passed to George, who misses from close range. McMcGaw puts it back in. But it's still Townsville who have a small buffer to work with. Long way to go. Nicholson working hard on Madgen, did everything but finish. McMcGaw drags down rebound number 7. She's in the open floor, she's out of control, and that's a charge.
Yeah, right call there by the referees. Great job from her to use her athleticism and run the middle lane so hard. I'd love to see that with someone of her length, but great job by the Townsville Fire just to step up as she was a little bit out of control on that finish to take the charge.
It's just a discussion from Melbourne's point of view about whether the points would count. They won't. Guy Malloy, the Boomers coach, never won a WNBL title. He's twice been to the grand final. Melbourne in 2017. Perth in 1993. Still chasing that elusive crown. Akuso worried out of it by McMcGaw. Stolen by Heel.
Sneaky, sneaky, Miss Sneaky. I love that. That was almost Christy Harrow-esque there. Great at being able to, when the big girl has the ball under the rim, just come in behind and pop it out and grab a steal and a nice easy 2 points.
17 points now on the back of 30 on Wednesday night in the semi-final. Garrett, catch and shoot. He's off target. They're finding ways to get her some looks though in this 3rd quarter. She scored off 1 possession. There you can see her guarding Charlotte Hill, who rattles in and out. She is feeling it.
She is indeed.
Madgen and George work together. Pick and pop. McMcGaw, another offensive rebound. This time she'll take the responsibility on herself.
Nice to see her not go back to her favourable left side on the back spin there and just see the defence and read with a nice little jump, right-hand hook shot.
13 and 8 for the WNBA title winner. Nicholson from the elbow. Akuso explodes with the offensive rebound and the putback.
Just flew through the air there with that length of her. Just looked like she was had a nice little bit of air time and came through for a nice little putback.
5-point lead to Townsville. Out to Caratiana. She's had 1 look from that wing in this quarter. Misses this time around. Everything running through Charlotte Hill at the moment. Nice pass though to Akuso. Attracted a crowd and then brought Satina into the game.
She did indeed, and I love that. Pick and roll game with someone that can set a screen really hard and dive even better.
This is a handy little 2-possession run here. Up the other end, Kayla George, as easy as you like. That's a bad defensive breakdown.
Yeah, just a little bit of miscommunication and oversight there by the Townsville Fire.
Heel, 2 more. She's running Maddie Garrick ragged in this 3rd quarter.
Yeah, I feel for Maddie Garrick there. She's in the backcourt trying to fight a screen from a Townsville big, and then the big of the Boomer is just sitting in the keyway and camping and not helping out at all.
19 points. McMcGaw with the offensive foul at the other end. This is a good couple of minutes for Townsville.
Yeah, you can just feel a little bit of momentum going to the Fire girls at the moment, and a necessary timeout perhaps, but you can see here from Zatina, the miss, but then the cheeky little miss that we've come to know in this WNBL season. Miss Charlotte Hill getting another steal and some points to her name.
She's got 19 points. And she'll sit down Steph Reed into the game. Let's go to Megan courtside.
I just love seeing Charlotte Hill shine and then come off to a huge applause here at Townsville Stadium. Great to see Shannon Seabom pulling her aside, having a few words with her. She came here to play under him, to be coached and mentored by him. And as he said recently, she soaks everything up like a sponge, and it's certainly working for the coach-player combination so far.
Front page of the paper, I think she was too today. Charlotte Hill. Am I right, Megan, in Townsville?
Yes, you sure were. The Townsville Bulletin, front page, back page on the WNBL. You know, there'll be a lift out on grand final day. It's just wonderful.
Magnificent. It's been great coverage all season long. Huge supporters of their local team, the Bulletin. Turnover there from the Fire. Inside 4 minutes to play. In the third quarter on Wednesday, it's where Melbourne did their damage against Canberra. In the third quarter tonight, they need to find an answer. George back out to Madgen. And that can't drop. Nicholson fights off a couple of purple jerseys and a big, strong rebound. Purcell with the steal. Top 5 in the competition in that stat. Has right breaking for her. George and Akuso. George pulls up for 2. Where are they breaking down offensively, Jenny, in this third quarter, Melbourne?
Oh, look, I think they've had some great looks. I mean, they probably could have better ball movement. I'd love to see some more pick and roll action. And even down low, they're a dominant force inside, as we've come to know. But it's just knocking it down. And at the moment, they're not just finding the bottom of the net.
Akuso against the shot clock. Little baby hook doesn't go down. Melbourne spread out across the floor. Try and run something meaningful at the offensive end. Beck to George, who fought hard for position. Imagine with 5 on the shot clock. Ball through numerous sets of hands. It finishes with Wright. George on the offensive glass. How good was that?
It was indeed. I loved the ball movement from the Melbourne Boomers there to get that first shot, but then followed up by Kayla George with the offensive rebound. She was huge in their previous games as well in terms of rebounds for the Boomers. She had 18 in their first appearance and then followed up with a 14 rebound count in their second.
And 12 on Wednesday night against Canberra in their win. It's Garrick back into the game. Let's take a look at Kayla George once more. It's one thing to pull the rebound down, it's another to finish it off.
And the nice thing I've liked about Kayla this season, she's been really consistent. She hasn't had many up and down games. She's been solid across the board. And come finals time, she's almost relished in the opportunity, unlike previous years, like, I want the ball, I'm going to make this happen. Whereas I think she's just shied away from it in previous years.
First minutes now for Tony Farnworth, who we just saw there, the New Zealander. Perhaps a defensive role for her at the back end of the quarter. George with the mid-range jump shot.
And when you're going to show really hard like that, and Akuso did, you're going to get a popping action like Kayla George did, and we know that she can shoot it from long range and loves a pick and pop.
Hill with a foot on the line for 2.
Stop it!
She can't miss.
I'm sick of talking about it, but I'm so excited by her at the same time, you know. Another great little finish there by Shyla.
9 of 11 from the field for the 19-year-old. She's got that look in the eye once again. Purcell dumps it out to Garrick. She had to fire and misses. Should be a Boomers ball, and it is. Here's Tony Farnworth. In her second season at the Boomers. She's a life member of the WNBL. 250-plus games. Charlotte Hill taking on all comers in quarter number 3. There's Garrick again, guarded by Reed, steps inside for 2. And that's short as well. Nice active tip though from Purcell. Another chance for the Boomers that they'll be desperate to make count. They go down to Kayla George, and why not? just didn't have enough on it. Garrick, this time maybe, stepping back. It can't go down.
Great second and third efforts from Kalani Purcell there to allow her teammates opportunities. I wish that Maddie Garrick on that last shot just catch and shoot rather than wanting to put the ball on the floor.
The ball in the hands of Shyla Hill. Last possession of the quarter. Underneath to Akuso. She's fouled. She just forced her way inside the lane.
Really assertive, physical contest. We don't appreciate the banging that goes on in the low block at times from these women, but you know, nice to see it happening, and it looks really, really hot. I don't know if Megan can hear me, but these girls look like they're gassing. It looks really sweaty down there and up there, humid. Is it, Megan, if you can hear me?
It is, Screeny, and it's been hot weather as well. And, you know, these girls have been playing every second day for 6 weeks. It's been a really long campaign. We talk about Izzy Magbagor as well. She's come off a full WNBA season, had 4 weeks in quarantine in Sydney and then Brisbane, and then come into a hub season. It's just an amazing effort as the crowd goes wild for Zatina Akuso.
Garrick will be the one to get it up for Melbourne. Townsville lead by 7 with a quarter to play. They're staring a spot in the WNBA.
Don't chase that feeling like
She's the next big thing in Australian basketball. Shyla Hill was superb on Wednesday night with 30 points, but her performance tonight, she's leading the way with 21 points. She's the game's leading point scorer, and she's proving impossible to stop.
And she's creating so much attention, not only for herself, but for the league as well, the way she's playing. And she's obviously got Sandy Brondello there, the Australian Opals coach, watching, and you know, she'll be heading to that camp in January as well. But what we've got right now is the fourth quarter of basketball, and as I look at the stats, the big glaring difference is we saw Melbourne Boomers, they've actually had more shots, 7 more shots across the board than the Townsville Fire, but their shooting percentages is dropping. It's at 38% compared to 46 for the Townsville Fire, but the only thing that's saving them is probably those 11 offensive rebounds.
Nice move from Kayla George to get the Boomers started for the last quarter. Let's go to Megan Huswaite.
All very measured in the Townsville Fire camp at 3-quarter time. Steph Reid with the ball now is running the point to start this final quarter. Surprise, surprise, they are going to be running someone for this woman, Shyla Hill.
And she blows past Garrick for 2 more.
Haven't seen this lineup that much in terms of Hill, Nicholson and Reid. 3 smalls. Well, Nicholson's not small, she's at 180 centimetres, but to run 3 small, you might see some fast break action happen for these girls. And then also having Shyla shift into the 2 spots allows her to be that shooting dominance that we've come to see, rather than having to create all the time in the 1 spot.
It's been a really, really good battle to watch, Garrick and Heel, but maybe the stamina, maybe she's got a little bit more in the tank than Maddie Garrick, but she's starting to get on top in that matchup. And the scoreboard will tell us that as well. She's got 23 points, Charlotte Heel. Payne tried to find McKay. George intercepted that pass on the way through, or partially intercepted it, I should say. Purcell into Madgen, who's doubled up. Good D from Nicholson. Read the play well. And the officials will say that was last touch by Melbourne. So an over and back call.
You saw 2 great defensive sets there. Down one end of the floor, you had the Townsville Fire in a 2-3 zone, creating the turnover. And then here, a nice little trap from the 2 guards to create pressure on Tess Madgen and then force the turnover.
Guy Malloy watches on. Melbourne Boomers coach. There's Shannon Seabohm, the coach of the year. Heel once more, isolated on Garrick. Crossing over, then dumps it to Payne. That doesn't go down. Momentum squarely in Townsville's favour. Melbourne have got to find a way to wrestle that back. That's a good starting point. Magbagor. Madgen swings to George. Now back to Madgen with the shot clock inside single figures. Garrick fouled by Reed on the way through. Points won't count. She will get to the free throw line for 2.
Great poise there to be able to find that penetration by the Melbourne Boomers. I would have loved to seen Ezzy Magbagor go up on the shot rather than kicking it back out again, but nice job to see Maddie put it to the floor assertively and get herself to the line.
Points we mentioned on Wednesday night for Maddie Garrick, her 6th straight season as a Boomer. This team that's been around the mark for a number of years but haven't been able to win one since 2011. She's been a big part of that. May still have a big role to play in this game. 6-point lead to Townsville. Midway through this all-important final quarter. Nicholson falling away on Madgen. The defensive side of her game's been huge tonight, Tess Madgen.
It has. It's been pretty good. And in fact, she's probably not dominating as she has been on the offensive end, though, with 9 points, 3 of 9, but shooting a nice clip of 3 of 5 from down deep. 5 assists as well. She's also creating for her teammates, which is nice.
Garrick guarded closely by Nicholson against the shot clock. This defensive play from Townsville forced a tough look. McKay drags down her 6th rebound. She's had a good presence underneath tonight. Bit happening off the ball. Foul will be on Garrick.
Just, Townsville's held the lead, and they have for the majority of the game as Kate Gaze checks back in. But you just go, is the experience of the Melbourne Boomers actually going to step up? I know it's only a 6-point margin, or is the youth and the naivety of the Townsville Fire and that home court advantage actually going to pay dividends here and send them to a grand final? It's just, there's no momentum. I feel like we're just stuck in, sinking sand at the moment, and I'm waiting for one team to just put their hand up and put a nail in the coffin.
It's short from Gaze. Well done, Heel. Wrestles it away from right. Townsville get another opportunity to score. 3, Shyla Heel. Remember the name, ladies and gentlemen. Her father might be a superstar of the game. She's a future superstar, and she's dominating the WNBL final series.
Yeah, she's giving me goosebumps. I mean, 19 years of age, and to be able to do this, she's just locked in. She's young. You would expect inconsistency and to happen with her, but she's just on the ball. And I love that Shannon Seabohm is giving her opportunity to explore and create with this team.
Flex in this play. Now the guards facilitate the offense. Pass and cut any action out of hand, fist, horns. You guys cannot pass the ball and stand still. So we're on flex now. We're going to flex Kayla again, because we just scored on that one. So you're going to set the down screen and flare to the wingers. All right, and you'll have a second flare screen. Okay, there's a long, long way to go. Now, defensively, we're going to stay in the 2. You're down the back, you're up the top. On everything, you're up the top. Here we go.
Guy Malloy, the coach of Melbourne. Let's go to Megan Huswaite. The roar's getting louder and louder with every Shiloh Hill bomb, Megan.
It sure is. It's not just the roar though, Jack and Jenny. I'm looking around the crowd at, you know, in the orange t-shirts, Townsville fans and just general observers. People are laughing. They just can't believe that Shiloh Hill is lighting up another final and she's taking this side on her back and taking them towards a grand final on Sunday.
Well, she's got plans to enter the 2021 WNBA draft. Her stocks are rising by the day.
Oh, absolutely. Should be on the radar for a lot of the WNBA teams, but coming out of the zone, the timeout for the Melbourne Boomers, it's going to be interesting. There's plenty of time and juice left in this game, but it's going to go away very quickly unless these girls get something done. And defensively right now, we're going to see them in a 2-3 zone.
Shots like that from McGregor have got to go down for Melbourne. As the deficit is now 9, they double up here. Payne left all open in the corner. Rattles in and out. Imagine swings cross court, right. Found a way to get it to McGregor. That's better.
And that's just simple push basketball. First 6 seconds, I should say, of a transition bucket allows them. They just kick it up, penetration, and then finding Ezzy.
Low-scoring final quarter. Payne got a defender up in the air, and that left Megan McKay all open underneath the basket. Yeah, that high position, just a lot of space there. Just drags the lower part of the zone up, which then creates the space underneath the bucket for McKay. McKay's been important on the glass and just having a presence. She's working hard on Kayla George as well. It's tough from Stella Beck.
Yeah, we haven't seen much of Stella Beck in recent games or even tonight, and it's nice to see her put some points on the board, but these girls are going to have to do more than that in the next 5 minutes.
And get multiple scores in a row. That's been their biggest challenge, Melbourne. Nicholson with a path to the basket that opens up. She's into double figures now. Yeah, that 2-3 zone that they've seen in for the last couple of plays isn't helping them. They're not working well in it, and Townsville are just being able to pick it apart. It'll be interesting to see how long they'll stay in it. 7 on the shot clock for McGregor. Looks for right. This is a tough look. That's short. Ball still alive. Didn't hit the rim though. Another win defensively for the Fire.
Absolutely, and yes, credit to the Townsville Fire in terms of their defense, but Melbourne are just stagnant, and we heard them talk in their timeout. You've got to pass and cut. You've got to move, whether it's weak side, strong side. The guards have got to move, but they're just kicking it in, and then they're standing and watching and expecting something to happen, which then allows Townsville to create pressure because they can just sag in a little bit.
Guy Malloy's got his starters back out there now. They're full starting 5. Magin, McGregor, George, Garrick, Caratiana. This is it for the Boomers.
It is. Big push in the next couple of minutes if there are any chance of facing the Southside Flyers on Sunday. You just see Megan McKay getting caught again for a second offensive foul for the night, but, you know, in terms of the context of the game, not a bad one to give.
McKay has 4 fouls. Zatina Akuso back in. 10 points and 4 rebounds for her. 63-54. The winner of this game will be in the grand final on Sunday against the Southside Flyers. George missed McGregor on the way through. The ball in the hands of Shiloh Hill with 26 points. Lost the handle, but got it back. She's fighting to get free. Akuso forced her way into the paint. His shot's off target. Rebound Caratiana. Here's Garrick. Can't get away from Gaze. The play breaks down. That play worked though. Caratiana sliding to the basket.
Nice little start play. It looked like it was going to be a handoff between Caratiana and George, and just saw her defender napping and just did a quick backdoor for a give and go.
So now Melbourne need to stop and then need to score at the other end. Foul.
An offensive foul.
Offensive foul. It is called on Nicholson.
Interesting. It is getting physical out there. You can see Tess is trying to be proactive and ride on the hip of Nicholson. Foul or not, I'm not sure, but it is definitely finals basketball.
3 minutes and 20 left. No timeouts remaining for either team. This is it. 63-56.
No timeouts is interesting, Jack. I find that fascinating considering, you know, you're going to see one more surge from Melbourne. We'll just listen to this timeout and I'll come back to it.
All good. You're right. Hey, you're fine. Hey, just here. So they've got this side out. Let's start our double fist there. Right, so double fist back to head tap. Right, just got to keep, right, great down here. Keep playing tough. Right, got to know where shooters are now. No easy looks. Right, and if we're head tap like Caratiana there, right, whoever back cut, don't overplay that. Just sit in the triangle so they can't backdoor us, right? Hey, next offense, let's run 41. Right, 41. So lost off the down pick, flip it, get it back into the on ball. Right, here we go, girls.
Jack, prompt me. I was listening so hard to the timeout. I forgot I was going to... Oh, timeout.
Timeouts you were talking.
Yeah, last timeout. You know there's going to be a push now from the Melbourne Boomers. Is neither team having a timeout going to actually play into this game, that they don't get one more opportunity to run a play when it comes to the last 1 or 2 possessions of the game? We'll just have to see how that one unfolds.
3 minutes and 20 left. Season on the line for both teams. They finished 2nd and 4th respectively. Both with 9 and 4 records. George to Caratiana, then Garrick misses. Magbagor soars through the air and rebounds.
Is that the sniff that they needed? You know, they're creeping that margin just a little bit in. If they can get a stop here, we're going down to the wire.
Her 6th offensive rebound of the night, Ezzy Magbagor. Garrick's hands were just good enough to get it away from Akuso, who touched it last. Here's the stop that Melbourne were looking for.
Yeah, Maddie Garrick didn't give up in this play. She was deflecting, trying to get involved as much as she could, as she has been all night, and nice to see her come up with that forced turnover for the Townsville Fire.
Still cool, calm and collected Shannon Seabom there. Just telling a couple of his players it's all good. We're under control. 5 points separate the teams. What about the 2 leading scorers in the game? Shyla Hill at 19 years of age and Ezzy Magbagor at 21 years of age. They are the future of basketball in this country and representing the Australian name overseas. Sandy Brondello's got an amazing team to choose from. Imagine, she's part of that Opal squad. She's short there. Coming up to 2 minutes to play. Heel managed to get free for Nadine Payne. Jumped out. Nicholson was open underneath the basket for a moment, but they couldn't find it. There's a mismatch down low. Akuso guarded by Garrick at the moment. Nicholson. It's a call that could have gone either way. It's a defensive foul on Caratiana.
That's always a tough one as we have a look at the 3-point percentage. It hasn't been great from either team, but you see Caratiana, could have gone either way, that one. But again, great offensive rebound from the Townsville Fire to allow themselves another opportunity here.
Let's get some of the sweat off the floor. We heard Megan say that it's been another hot day in Townsville. Draining for every player in this game. To get through tonight, the winner, they've got to come back and do it on Sunday against the #1 seed. Heel thought about it, got rid of Garrick. How's the shake and the moves, and then the swat from Magbagor once again. Garrick in the open court. Boomers have scored the last 6 points.
Oh, we do have a timeout. We're talking about timeouts for nothing, Jack. Interesting.
Thought they'd worn them all out, but there you go. Ezzy Magbagor, the rim protector.
Yeah, indeed. We thought Shyla had broken the ankles of Maddie Garrick there, but, you know, Ezzy had an answer for that and just be able to create a quick, fast break for Maddie Garrick, and we're back to a 3-point ball game with less than 6 possessions to go in this game.
What's been the turning point? What's changed from Melbourne's point of view?
They've just had a couple of stops. You know, Townsville haven't been able to capitalise on their own stops and converting buckets and just a bit more composure, but the next few plays are going to be the difference for these teams, and it'll be interesting to see what the Townsville Fire come out in here.
Two really good games they played during the season. On both occasions, though, it was Townsville. Can they hold their nerve? And what have Melbourne got up their sleeve? A minute 40 remaining. Is this where the experience factor maybe does start to play a role for the Boomers?
You would hope so, because you would think that they've learnt lessons from years past, especially last year in the finals series campaign when they probably should have won in 2 and forego that opportunity to go into the final series. But maybe this is their time, or perhaps it's a fairy tale for the Townsville Fire to get themselves to that championship turn against the Southside Flyers.
Megan was taking a listen to Shannon Seabohm there.
Could be the biggest timeout of Shannon Seabohm's illustrious WNBL career to date, but he was just cool as a cucumber, telling his girls, we're fine, we're fine. Let's see if they're about to be fine for the next minute 30.
Garrick aggressive in the way she's guarding Heel.
Yeah,
almost came up with it.
She did. She had a dig, but now they're on 14 fouls. So in the context of the game, there's still a minute and a half to go. You want to be aggressive, but the next foul that they give away, they're sending Townsville to the stripe for some easy points.
And that's Garrick's 4th as well. And Heel will be well aware of that. Akuso steps out of bounds. The inbound was designated for Heel, but Garrick closed off that passing opportunity. Big play here defensively for the Boomers.
Indeed, and he's just out of screen, but you can see the excitement of the Melbourne Boomers girls, but Guy Malloy was just as excited about that play because he knows how important it is.
They've got a chance to tie it up on this possession. Magbagor rolls for Garrick and then rolls inside and can't finish it off. Heel read it better off the rim. Her 5th rebound to go with her 26 points. A minute to play. Crucial possession here for the Fire to make it count. Nicholson gets free with 5 on the shot clock. Out to Payne, has to shoot.
Oh no!
Shot clock violation, Townsville.
Oh, both plays there. Great job by the Melbourne Boomers not to concede and give up a foul. Nadine Payne had no other option just to throw it at the rim, but we're into a timeout now and we're just under 3 plays or 3 possessions in this game, and Melbourne Boomers are going to need a score if there any chance to close this one out.
Has the momentum shifted in the last...
No, I just feel like we're still in, sand. We're not moving at all. It's just been a grind the whole time, but, big play for the Melbourne Boomers coming up. It'll be interesting to see what the Townsville Fire do. Do they stick into that zone that's worked so well for them, or do they go into a bit more one-on-one kind of scenario? Pick and rolls, what they're going to do. Are they going to trap? Are they going to show really hard? This is what finals basketball is all about.
3 points the difference. 50 seconds remain, which is a long, long time in finals basketball.
It is. We know shot clock's around 24, and we've got 3 possessions left. Where the last few plays, have both been stops, but they haven't been able to, neither team's been able to convert on the offensive end, which has been pretty much the story of the night in terms of this game. And Melbourne Boomers haven't shot well from beyond the arc at 4 of 21, 19% of the game. Is it going to be a long bomb, or are they going to get themselves to the rack? Townsville do have 2 fouls to give, though.
Well, our officials are just taking a look at something here as well. That's the question here for the Boomers, isn't it? Do they look for the 3 ball on this play?
I don't think so, unless it's wide open, and as we see them decide how many seconds are left in this game. I think they've got to go to what's been working for them. Ball movement, get some 2-man game happening. Ezzy or Kayla George have been phenomenal in the paint and dominated for this team tonight. They're both on the brink of a double-double. You would be remiss to think that it's not going to be in their hands.
So at
hands
0,
for this play.
I've got 51.5 or 6? That's 6. 51.5. All right, thank you. 51.5.
51.5 seconds.
Yes. Sorry.
Every second counts.
Oh, does it what? Here we go, Jack. Potential overtime.
Imagine that.
We haven't had it much this season.
No, we
except
haven't.
for the first, I think, round 1. We had an overtime game in the first couple of games, but since then it's been very far between.
So the Boomers in possession, and they trail by 3. Imagine running the point for Melbourne. We'll look for the open player. They roll back to Magbagor. Huge basket for Ezzy.
Precise execution out of a timeout. Guy Malloy couldn't have asked for more. Now they need to stop. Townsville need to score to just give themselves some breathing room.
Won the difference. Back in the hands of Heel. Shaking away on George. She's fouled. Free throws to come.
Wow. Oh.
That's there.
At first glance, I was like, no, that's not a foul. But on that replay, you know, if I was the referee, I'd probably be the same call for me and sending Charlotte to the line. And probably no bigger foul shots except on the world stage when she's played it for the green and gold, and to knock down these foul shots, and she ain't gonna miss, Jack. Come on.
85% free throw shooter on the season. Goes 2 of 2. Ice running through her veins. 3 points the difference. Townsville in possession. Game clock at 10 seconds. Madgen looks to get open. Magbagor to tie it up. Can't make it count. George back out to Garrick. She misses as well. Townsville hang on. They're off to the grand final. In the most dramatic of fashion, the Townsville Fire make this venue a winning one once again, and they will play the Southside Flyers in the decider on Sunday. What a finish.
I'm speechless. I really am. I wouldn't have, considered them to be in the grand final, and that girl on screen, Charlotte Heel, has been phenomenal, and I would say the main reason why these girls find themselves in the grand final. But take nothing away from that crowd. They have to enjoy this moment before they get ready for Sunday. Wow.
They're the fairy tale story of the WNBL season. Back in the playoffs for the first time in 3 years. It's another run at it. They had a dynasty period. Then they went to the youth. They went to Shannon Seabohm as coach. He's attracted some of the best young players in the land, and they've got a chance to win the whole thing on Sunday.
Yeah, I said, wouldn't it be a fairy tale if they get to that grand final? And they're going to face Southside Flyers on Sunday with nothing to lose, and guaranteed there's not going to be a 41-25 first quarter ever again from these girls. I feel for the Melbourne Boomers. They did have their opportunities down the stretch there and just couldn't have come away with the win. And oh, it's going to be a heartache and a few sleepless nights for those girls, and Guy Malloy is the coach.
Incredible performance by the Fire. He said that they held their nerve, and they had to. Even at the end, Melbourne had a couple of repeat looks. Let's go to Megan Husway.
I think that says it all, Charlotte Hill. You just led your team into a grand final.
I know, it's really loud, but it's so exciting. The girls were really good today. We all worked as a team, and they're a tough team, so to come out and play like that's a really good game.
They are tough, but so are you. That was such a tough performance on D, of course, but you were amazing. Lauren Nicholson. Wow.
Tasmanian and Maddie Garrett. So I'm pretty happy.
You were 19 years old in your first season starting in the WNBL. They wore you like a glove tonight, but you took the honours and took your team into the decider.
Yeah, I can't believe we're in the grand final tomorrow. It's pretty cool. So
Sunday, Joel, Sunday.
Yeah, recovery tomorrow. And then Sunday we're in the grand final. But yeah, we need to go back to Shannon Seabum, watch film, get a recovery in, and go as the underdogs and try to beat Southside.
Underdog tag already. What about this crowd? Amazing. The cowbells, the atmosphere. Can you hear it out there?
I kind of block it all out, but they are amazing. Before coming to Townsville, everyone said that the crowd's really good here, and having them on our side is a real big advantage, and I'm really happy. They're awesome.
We are really happy you are starring in this WNBL season. Shyla, you are a superstar. See you on Sunday in the grand final.
Thank you.
She was 14 years old when she made her WNBL debut. She's 19 now, and she's going to be playing in a grand final on Sunday.
Oh, imagine the story, you know, to have a 30-point game in the semi-final. She's now backed it up with a 28-point game, shooting at 11-14 cleared, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. It's just phenomenal. It just speaks volumes to the hard work she's put in as a junior, and then you just get excited by what's to come for her future, and also for these Townsville Fire girls.
And for the coach of Townsville, Shannon Seabom, the coach of the year. Can he be the man who steers Townsville to another title? He's with Megan Huswaite.
He is with me. Shannon, you are into the grand final. Tell me how you feel right now.
Oh, it's unbelievable. You know, I think we've been doubted all year. We obviously were last season, and you know, I'm just so proud of the team. Like, they've just battled every single game, and tonight, credit to Melbourne, like, they were unbelievable as well, and it was such a tough game, but yeah, we're thrilled to be through and can't wait for Sunday.
It is a new team. You recruited all these pieces to your puzzle, but they play like they've had a long-going chemistry as the crowd continues to go crazy here. What's been the secret to bringing them together so quickly?
Oh, they're just awesome people. We've got just such a great group. We've got great leadership, and they all care about each other, and they have since day one, and I think it shows when we play. And yeah, we're just super excited to have a chance to go up against Southside again and see how we go.
When you recruited Charlotte Hill, did you ever dream that she might lead you into a grand final?
Well, that's why we recruited
Worked for a long time, preparing, and to get to the grand final is just a real feeling, so I'm really excited.
Bring on Sunday in the Southside Flyers, huh?
Yeah, so excited. We need to get a better start than we did last time against the Flyers. Job's not done yet, but I'm really excited.
Exciting times for the Fire. We loved your performance tonight. Congrats, Loz.
Thanks, Megan.
Second in the competition for points scored this season, Lauren Nicholson. Let's have a look at some of our match highlights. So many to choose from. The one thing that we expected going into this game, Jenny, is there would be nothing between these two teams, and they did not disappoint. The margin was inside single figures for the entire game.
Yeah, Townsville Fire didn't have a greater lead than 9 for the entirety of the game, and it was just a grind. It was a hustle. It was physical. Every possession counted. Every shot counted, and it was exciting brand of basketball, and that's what you expect to see in a final, especially the calibre of these professional women that we see playing our game. But when we talked about the big three before the game, the big three of the Townsville Fire really stepped up. Shyla Heal, Lauren Nicholson, and Zatina Akuzo were big in terms of points and their contribution for their team.
And even the game itself had different layers to it, so it was pretty fast early on, a bit of a shootout, but as we so often see in playoff basketball, the longer down the stretch it went, the pace slowed. So we had almost 2 games. We had a fast, free-flowing first half and an arm wrestle in the second half.
We did, and this is the game of basketball and sport in general. Momentum swings, and you've got to ride the waves. And I honestly thought Melbourne Boomers' experience would come over the top. They didn't have a timeout in that last final play to see out the game, and maybe that's something they'll regret later on. But hey, the youth and the inexperience, if you will, of this Townsville Fire team has led them, but they're not inexperienced in terms of the coach, Shannon Seabohm, and he did a great job.
And the crowd, well, they were a factor as well, and they loved everything that they saw from Shyla Hill, except that play. Ezzy McGregor, she had a brilliant night for Melbourne in her own right, and she can hold her head very, very high. But when the game was up for grabs, it was Townsville. They made hard work of it towards the end, but they are the winners tonight. They take on the Southside Flyers in Sunday's WNBL Grand Final. Final score tonight, 65-62. We're going to come back with all of the fallout after this.
Until